Hi everyone, this is just a quick sort of impromptu video that I've been wanting to do for a little while. This is not your typical episode, obviously, and it's not, I don't even think I call it a conscious commentary. It's rather bringing up a subject that those of you that listen to Higher Journeys or watch Higher Journeys these days know is near and dear to me, and that's the subject of synchronicity. I know I may be beating the drum long and hard, but I'm going to continue to beat it because I am convinced more than ever that we all know what synchronicity is, right? As Jung famously coined the term, two meaningful coincidences, meaningful coincidence, that two events that tend to coincide and bring about one very, very powerful meaning. Okay, fine. It's been there forever. I think we're wired for it. I have always called it universe's way of speaking to us. This is universe's language to us, and it knows us well. However, and this is a big however, you can go back in the archives and know that I have talked about this over the months as I've been really monitoring the uptick in what I've called synchronicity clusters, more profound synchronicity that are coming through by means through technology. I think we did 2 shows on that. I am clear that there is something happening energetically that is making for a template or an infrastructure that is making synchronicities more frequent and more potent. The reason why I wanted to do this for you today and right away is because I'm hearing from people. Now, obviously, I hear from you, the journeyers, all the time on what's happening, and you are so great at informing me of what's happening in your life, and I'm kind of trying to put pieces together. I don't know that we'll ever come up with a definitive conclusion as to what's happening. However, I'm now hearing from people in my personal circle. I just spoke with a cousin the other day who couldn't wait to share with me some of the really powerful synchronicities that have been happening to her on almost a daily basis. People that, in addition to her, that I've talked to that don't even talk about this sort of thing, let alone experience them, or at least they don't acknowledge them. So again, I am clear that we have moved into some very, very potent energetic space in which synchronicity and other such things are unavoidable. When I say other such things, I'm also talking about what we classically call paranormal encounters. I want to give a shout out to someone that I have not had the pleasure of meeting yet, but I hope to have on the show one day, and that's Lee Harris. You may know the name Lee Harris Energy. He's known for his monthly energy updates. Maybe I'll put a link to the October update that he did because I think it's so cool. They're all good. But specifically Lee, who will typically go through his monthly energy updates where he checks in with his guides and gives some themes for what we need to be really centering our focus on for each month. And one of the themes that came up, very powerful, that a message that he received was simply, and I may be paraphrasing, paranormal or the weird will become the new normal. Paranormal, the weird will become the new normal, something like that. Meaning that there is something that has happened or some phase that we have moved into, and I'm going to use the term energetically because I think that's the only apt term to use. Some say we have indeed moved into a new dimensional frequency. That could very well be true. I do not know how one would meet that out. Certainly with left brain logic, there may be some way of doing it. Our bodies are reacting based on the fact that we are in a new energy frequency. And along with that, yeah, I'm talking about the ear buzzing as well. I think I might do a show just on that. But things like synchronicity, uptick in psychic proclivity, as well as other paranormal type things are happening. Is it happening for you? I want to hear from you, and I want to see where we may be able to carve a bit of a niche, and niche, tomato, tomato, and really, really hone in on how this is happening, what may be causing, what's the framework by which this is happening, and I think most importantly, how can we tap in consciously to this signature, energetic signature change, because I'm clear that this isn't the type of thing where we need to be sitting ducks with this. We need to be proactive and really, if there is a new reality that has met us somewhere here on this little blue planet, I think we need to shake hands with it and make friends with it and learn it and understand it. Because frankly, I think these things would not be happening to us if it wasn't for us, meaning there is a symbiosis somehow between us and the phenomena that we experience. There is a symbiosis between us and the synchronicities that we're having. Synchronicity, paranormal phenomena, what's happening with you? Let's just go there. And based on the comments that I get from you, and I'm hoping please leave me a ton of comments, we can build a show around that. I'm going to stay with this, guys. I've kind of been hanging with this since I think February when we did our first show on Synchronicity Spikes, I think I called it. I'll also link that episode, 1 or 2 episodes actually. And I've been monitoring it. Now, interestingly, when I did the first Synchronicity Spike conscious commentary, this was prior to, you know, I'm not going to call it what I had planned on calling it, prior to this new phase that we're in. Let's just call it that, because there's a lot of things going on. This new reality on a very 3D level. That conversation happened prior to all of this happening. And yet the effects that presaged what was to happen were happening, and they've been consistent. The ear buzzing, or what I like to call white noise, synchronicity clusters, other weirdness and wonkiness. What's going on here? Something big. I think something big. I don't know if I have said this to you in any previous episode or in the course of a guest conversation, but guys, I've had a sense for months now, 9 months, maybe 8, 9 months, that somehow it feels as if our planet has literally been moved. Now, I know this may garner a lot of controversy in what I'm saying. I really try to not describe my own personal experience and sense as it fits within a framework of we're ascending, we've moved into another dimension. It could be all of those things. I'm giving you a sense for how I have felt. And I don't know that I'm going to be able to do it justice right now. This could warrant another show, but I will tell you that when the pandemic first happened and we were all, many of us, in a space of relative lockdown and quarantine lockdown, couldn't go anywhere, very few places, I got the sense that we as a species on this planet, and it took a long time for me to get clarity on how I would explain it, even to myself, not figuratively, but physically, could it be that somehow we moved to another part of the galaxy? This is how I'm going to describe it. This is not coming from any left brain logic, obviously. This is not coming from any scientific perspective. How could it? I'm not a scientist. It's coming from a sense, a sensation, a feeling sense that, and not figuratively, I feel as if we have been, we'll call it shifted. It is what it is. But the entire, all of planet Earth and her inhabitants, us, have been moved to perhaps another space. I pause here because it's still very difficult, you know, when I'm going public, I'm saying this for, you know, with whatever feedback I get. Again, I'm just describing the feeling. When you hear people say we're all in this together and it's so cliche, it's ridiculous, and I tend to not like those terms that are used so much, but it really does feel that way. We are all on this spaceship Earth together. Somehow we were all moved together, even though our reactions to it and where we are landing and where we will land when we come out of this may be vastly different from our neighbor or whomever, but we were somehow all transported somewhere together. Just a feeling, just a sense. And it's more than figuratively speaking. Let's explore that. Let me know how you feel about that. And so as I think about that sensation that was unrelenting for me for months, You know, I think I used the analogy of Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz to somebody, several people. You know, as I grappled with how would I describe this when Dorothy obviously is stuck in her house and everything in the house looks the same, even though it's moving around. But you know, the house looks the same. But when the house finally stops its movement and she opens the door, you know where she ends up. She's in Oz. Are we in Oz? It's something to explore, and I'd love to get your feedback on. Don't give me science here. Tell me how you feel. And if something has happened in that regard, whether we have shifted dimensionally, energetically, which I do feel, could that be partial explanation for some of the things that we are experiencing right now? Let's see. Okay, I'm going to wind up for now, and I will check back in with you. But please do comment. I want to hear what you feel is happening, particularly in your world, because that's really all that matters, right? And we'll share. We'll talk to you real soon. Bye.